You've been carefully crafting your to-do list, but time after time, you just cannot turn it into intended results. We get stuck in sabotaging our dreams, ruined self-confidence, and lost hope that we can change our life, achieve great things. Spoiler, yes, to-do list can be dangerous for your well-being. I know people who have to-do list for their to-do list, and this is a real danger. And I'm so happy you found this video, because here we are talking about how to save your plans and your self-confidence. Let's explore how our own plans can make us feel miserable, how they are killing our self-confidence, what happens in our brain in the meantime, and finally, how to navigate in situations when things just don't go as expected. By the way, let me know down below in the comments if your self-esteem ever suffered from your failed plan. Hello friends, my name is Laima. Welcome to my channel, where we are talking about self-coaching and neuroscience-based tools that have helped me and my clients to become authors of their lives. If your plan A seldom unfolds as expected, it might be that you are falling into 3 project management traps. Let's start with the root cause of this evil phenomenon. And for this purpose, we will do case studies. A week ago, I was cleaning up my Notion. This is where I keep all my projects, plans, to-do lists, and I came across this lovely page from last year that says February sprint. For the context, I work with my personal projects in format of 4-week Agile sprints. Basically, I split my year in 12 sprints, and 3 weeks in each sprint are dedicated to the actual work on a project. The final 4th week is for chill and reflection. In my sprints, I include everything that is important to me and that is outside my full-time job. So this can be projects related to spring cleaning or education, YouTube, health checks, etc. I know it might sound nerdy and so boring. It took me a while to realize that this way I ensure that things that are important to me actually happen in my life and not remain in endless status of, oh, one day I will do this and that. This doesn't mean that my life is perfectly organized. Believe me, it's not. My sprints are not perfect, but they are very agile and they do bring me results. Let's get back to my Notion to show you that it took me some time to master the art of being agile and productive. Here is my to-do list, my plan for February 2023. And as you can see, main focus back then was to work on my YouTube. However, if you go to my channel now, you will see that my first YouTube video was uploaded only in January 2024. So it took me a year to complete this project. In February 2023, I failed my plan A. I made all possible project planning mistakes so that you don't have to. The first reason why we fail our own plans is inadequate planning. And let me know if you recognize yourself. When we get inspired by a new exciting idea, our dopamine level rises and it gives us a sense of almightiness, like, yes, I can do it. Just give me more tasks. I cannot wait to start. The dopamine spike rushes us to go for more, faster, without any checks with reality. Your dopamine does not care about reality, but you have to if you want to make things done. Let's look at my failed February plan from last year. Look at these plans that I have set for myself: 10 video ideas, 6 scripts, 3 recorded videos, 1 edited and published video, then prepare a YouTube channel, and and I had meditations in my plan as well. This was very ambitious plan for someone who never did YouTube and who also have full-time job and full-time life in the meantime, especially now when I know how much time it actually requires to prepare one script, to film the video, and to edit it. Another problem here is that my tasks did not have any time value estimates. Apparently, I was hoping that Scripts for video, a video script would take me not more than 30 minutes. Now I know that it actually takes me anywhere between 2 to 4 hours. This YouTube plan from last year was made to fail. Seriously, I had no chance to succeed. Knowing all the mistakes that I did back then, what I should have done differently, and basically what I do differently now. Break down big steps into smaller tasks. You can think about it as a bite that you can actually chew. Next, give a time value to your task, at least approximate one to begin with. And finally, put the task in your calendar immediately, because your dopamine rush can be a tricky liar, but your calendar never lies. There are only 24 hours in a day, or 16 if you sleep, which I hope you do. The next trap that I did not take into account was a level of novelty, a level of change that I was bringing to my life with this YouTube channel. The brain often perceives change as a potential threat to its established patterns and routines, and this can trigger a feeling of anxiety, stress, and discomfort as the brain adjusts to the new situation. In other words, it creates resistance, even if this change is meant for good in a long run. You might have noticed that adopting new habits, even healthy ones, requires quite some effort, right? Yes, change can also stimulate curiosity and excitement, leading to increased motivation. Overall, how our brain reacts to change can be influenced by different factors, for example, our past experience and our personal traits. For me, working on this YouTube project back then was exciting, but at the same time, it was a lot about stepping outside my comfort zone, speaking in front of the camera, showing up with my expertise, and worrying about my language skills. So although I knew that I won't die, it was a stress. And in moments of stress, our brain activates our default coping mechanisms, which you may know as freeze, flight, fight. Or in human world, they translate into ignorance, paralyzing feeling that there is nothing you can do about the situation, or non-stop preparation, our mind's fixation on perfectionism, which is another form of procrastination, or fight, which is our desire to prove ourselves right, no matter at what cost. In order to overcome our default stress management mechanisms and choose a better strategy for our desired outcome, we need to engage our prefrontal cortex, sitting just there behind our lobe. Default reactions to stress are triggered by limbic system. Some call it our emotional brain, or as Daniel Kahneman names it, System 1. And in order to override our automated default reactions and make more rational decisions based on evidence and analysis, we need to invest in deliberate and effortful thinking made by our prefrontal cortex, or System 2. Knowing our natural resistance to change, here is what to consider in your approach to your project planning. Firstly, acknowledge that resistance to novelty, resistance to change is inevitable. This is part of the journey. This is the feature of our brain. It was made so by design. Secondly, learn to recognize your default stress management mechanisms, because when you know your default settings, then you are able to adjust them. And please let me know if you want a separate video about this topic. Finally, accept the fact that dealing with resistance to novelty, with resistance to change, will require more of your physical and mental energy. And consider 10% rule, meaning that for lower psychological resistance, focus on gradual change. The comfortable level of novelty is around 10% per month. And if you're thinking that 10% is too small and slow for ambitious person as you, please check out my other video, very first one, where I'm talking about great results that are possible for everyone who is committing for at least 10% of change monthly. The final trap that I got myself into with this YouTube project, I thought that I'm able to foresee future. Let me explain what I mean. We tend to make our plans for ideal conditions, like we are 100% sure that no accidents will happen, that we won't get stuck in that traffic jam, that we will receive all needed information from our colleagues or partners just before the deadline. And we are making our plans like we never get sick. Seriously? I mean, sometimes even a slight indisposition will mean that a task that usually takes you 10-30 minutes instead might require 2 or 3 hours to finish, right? Yep, this happens to all humans. I failed my project because I could not foresee that, well, script writing is not that easy. It takes a few hours, not minutes. Also, I did not expect that filming is also not that simple because it depends a lot on lighting, and I want to make sure that I won't get disturbed during the filming. And finally, editing. It takes at least 6-7 hours, at least for a newbie as me. So these were things that I could not predict. All my estimates about the future were wrong. So, how to escape a fortune teller trap? First of all, accept the fact that you cannot predict future. Things will just happen, and this is just part of the game. Secondly, consider to invest in a weekly reflection to understand what worked well, what didn't, what should be removed, simplified, and adjust your next week accordingly to the findings that you got after your reflection. Allow yourself to go off script and always include buffering time in your calendar. What is the real evil about these project management traps? While we are creating inadequate plans, we are continuously witnessing ourselves failing. This way, we're killing the belief in our capacity to achieve great things. We get stuck in sabotaging our dreams with despair, ruined self-confidence, and lost hope that we can actually change our life. And this is a real danger. Now let's sum up. We identified 3 reasons why our plans tend to go off script, and this happens because our plans can be inadequate. We ignore psychological resistance. We think that we can predict the future and anticipate all possible plot twists. And knowing that, we need to reconsider our approach to our planning. For example, let's accept the fact that plan will always change and it is only a draft, although a very detailed one. Always add tasks in your calendar straight away with a time value in mind instead of creating just a to-do list. Add buffering time and invest in weekly reflection where the focus is not to beat yourself for what a failure you are, but rather focus on what worked well, what didn't, what should be simplified, removed, and adjust your plan accordingly. Finally, update the plan in your calendar with understanding that it may also change. Our plans and reality will never completely align, but with regular adjustments and flexibility, you will notice how they are getting closer to each other. With a flexible and manageable plan, you will notice that your resistance moving forward is not that strong. And most importantly, you will notice how much power you have to influence your own life. This empowering belief perhaps is the most important outcome of any plan. Last year, I failed my YouTube project. This year, I already published 5 videos on my channel, and I know that you can do it as well. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for your time. Please consider subscribing, liking this video if it was useful for you, and let me know in the comments down below which are your most common project planning traps. I'm super curious to know. Thank you again, and I see you in the next video. Bye.